Good morning, people. So, a bit of a talking video today. So, today I'm going to be talking a little bit about gardening motivation, getting on with things, making things work for you, and I'm also going to be giving a very inspiring shout out indeed. So, many of you will be aware that one of the main focuses of my channel is to get people growing, okay, no matter on what scale they're doing. I think this is such an amazing subject, incredibly beautiful in so many ways, with so much potential, and really can enhance people's lives on so many levels. And if the correct approach is taken to this subject, I personally think that the possibilities are close to endless. So there we go. That's how much I think of this beautiful subject. Now, one thing that stops many people getting into this, gardening, grow your own sort of thing, is lack of space, okay? And this is, for very many people a rather large issue, myself included. I would love to have a few acres that I could grow loads of my own things on. I would love to be able to have my own huge orchard. I would love to have my own woodland. I would love to have big areas of land so I can grow everything that I want. But certainly at this stage that is not possible. But what I'm doing is making the most of everything that I have, and it's taken me some years to get into this position, but it slowly has come to a level which I'm really starting to feel incredibly satisfied now. So I'm very, very grateful for that. But it wasn't always that way. And many people watching this are going to be living maybe in one room in a house share. Maybe they're still living at home. Maybe for whatever reason, they haven't got a garden, they're living in a flat, they're living in an apartment, and they just simply do not have any outside growing space. Or maybe they've got a balcony. And one thing that I really like seeing is on my Instagram, I'm seeing people that are living in apartments. I'm seeing people that are living in very, close quarters, maybe in cities, and they're growing things in their apartments, in their flats, in their houses, on their balconies. And watching this has really made me sort of just think about what people are doing. People are experimenting with grow lights where they're living. They're growing such amazing things, some things that I've never even considered growing, and it's just absolutely beautiful to see that. And if you're at this position in your life and you're growing things at home, or indeed you haven't started yet, you haven't got much space, but you really want to expand on this, I would say just keep doing what you're doing, okay? Keep working on it. No matter how big a scale it is. Maybe you're growing just a few chili plants on a windowsill, salad leaves, a few indoor succulents, cacti, whatever you want to call them. Whatever you're doing, just keep at it, because you don't know what's going to happen, what opportunities are going to come your way. You do not know, your circumstances might change. Someone might turn around and say to you, do you fancy, looking after a bit of my ground for me? You might put in for an allotment and you might be able to do that, Maybe not immediately, maybe not for 5 or 10 years, but there is a high chance it could happen if you really, really want to, and you're prepared to be patient. And patience is a virtue, and it can be very difficult sometimes to employ patience, but many times you need to, and I've certainly had to a lot on my own sort of gardening journey, if you will. I think that's really, really important. Maybe you really want to have a go at gardening a bit more, you want to expand on what you're doing, but I've spoke about this scenario before, you're working long hours, 6-7 days a week, long hours to make ends meet. You've got dependents. When you get home, you don't have much time that's your own. You're having to dedicate it to other things, no matter what they are. Maybe you're in difficult circumstances with your health, or difficult circumstances with having to be there, because you're so many things to so many people in this world. You're an employee, maybe you're a business owner, you're maybe a parent, a relative, a loved one, a husband, a wife, boyfriend, girlfriend. You get the idea. An employer, a carer, so many things that you are to so many people, and people love you for it, and you need to you need to direct your time towards those things and getting things in order of priority. Although gardening is a love for you, or you want to cultivate your love, you are currently unable to put into this subject what you want to. But maybe you've got half an hour a week that you can devote to this subject. Maybe, before you go to bed every night, let's say you've got 10 minutes that you can, study some books, some YouTube videos. Maybe once a month you can watch Gardener's World, with Monty Don, something like that. Just little bits of time. Take them. And after 5-10 years, maybe less than that, this time will have all added up. And the knowledge that you've got in here is huge. I remember years ago when I was working as a care assistant, and I was working long hours, like many people in the care industry do. And, excuse me, and I remember that when I used to get home late at night, I would be on YouTube looking at how to do something. I'd be reading a magazine and things like that. And there could be so many people around you that you can learn from. I'm going to share something with you now. When I worked in the care industry, there was a gentleman that I was looking after, and he was such a knowledgeable gardener, and he knew so much. I remember that at one point I went to see his garden that he had built with his wife, and it was beyond amazing. It was gorgeous. He had literally so many things you could think of there, and he had put so much love into that. You could see it, you could feel it, and the love was there, and the product of his love was absolutely beautiful. It takes a lot to put into words just how gorgeous and how much love he had put into this garden. But he is the one who got me into peach growing. Okay, now so many of you are aware of how passionate I am about peach growing, and he said to me, have you considered growing a peach tree or something like that? And I said, can you grow peaches here? Oh yes you can, but you've got to be aware of the issue of peach leaf curl, okay? And this chap and I, we used to talk, and because I was in the care industry, I had loads of other people to care for as well. I didn't have massive amounts of time to speak to him, but when we were doing what needed to be done, he would speak to me and I would ask him, and we like little 5 minutes of info here, another couple of minutes here, and before you know it, that information is in here. And I didn't try to learn it, I just absorbed what he was putting over to me. And if you can find someone or something with regards to information that you can glean little bits from, you'd be very much surprised how much you can learn. And you can do this without one massive time investment at any one time. So, I remember he also used to bring me in gardening magazines that I used to read. I remember other people giving me gardening magazines that they'd finished reading. I used to take them home and I read them. I don't know how many people read magazines now. Most of it's on the internet, but even if you're getting it off the internet on your news feed, on your phone, a few minutes here, a few minutes here, what was it they say? Small fish are sweet, little bit of gleaming information, on a constant thing. Make it part of your daily life, even if it's only 5 minutes, a few years of that, you've got a lot of information in there. So there we go. Now I want to give a inspiring shout out, okay? And this gentleman here, he personifies many things I talk about on this channel, and this is a chap called Connor Hope, okay? I will link his channel down below. Now he's suffering from ME and CFS. So I don't know what ME stands for, but CFS I think is chronic fatigue syndrome. And I've looked at his YouTube videos and also on Instagram as well, and he just looks so tired. He's a young chap suffering from these terrible conditions, and so many things are just not possible for him in terms of his gardening at the moment, but he's making the best of what he can do. And it's really fascinating watching his videos. He's in bed a lot of the time because he's got these terrible conditions, and watching these videos, I can see all these lovely plants in the background. I think I saw an amaryllis there. So many lovely things, and he's got the plants all around him, okay? And this sort of personifies so much of what I'm talking about, making gardening applicable to you and your circumstances. You know, you can always look at what other people are doing and you can say, they've got more than me, I'll never be in that position, I'll never have acres of land. But is that really going to help you? You know, use it as encouragement and something to drive you forward, yes, but be where you are now applicable to you. You know, and if you can just do what you can do in terms of gardening, even if it's something small, you know, like a few house plants, an aloe vera plant, a succulent or whatever, you know, some grass that you're growing inside, you know, really just make it applicable to you so that you can build on that if and when circumstances improve. So there we go. Now, I really like to see people do well. I really like to see people excel. I like to see people try, and it gives me a lot of happiness seeing people work at something that makes them really happy and really passionate, you know. And this doesn't have to just be gardening. You could apply this to so many other subjects as well. But basically what I want to get over to people, and I think I've done it now, is, you know, make your goal of gardening applicable to yourself and your circumstances, and really direct yourself towards that. And we're coming up to the perfect time of year for this sort of thing now. You know, spring is kind of here in some ways. I can see the fruit buds here coming out. So a great time to be a gardener. And any comments, questions or whatsits, please feel free to post them below. You can find me on Dan_Home Gardens on Instagram if you are interested, and check out Connor's channel. And, you know, if there's anyone out there gardening in non-ideal circumstances, maybe you've got particular, you know, ailments, whether it be, you know, a bad back to something like chronic fatigue syndrome, ME, you know, maybe you've got an injury and it's prohibiting you from working or whatever, you know, let me know, because I'm, you know, I just find it amazing when I see people, you know, doing the best that they can, and I just think it's so inspiring to everybody concerned. Okay, enough of that. See you next time.